Hey guys, Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Bakugan Battle Brawlers episode review for you guys. And we are back with episode 7. And yes, we finally get introduced to another main partner's Bakugan, and a character who's making his first, debut in person to our characters, and that is Preyas and Marucho. If you've seen the Bakugan Battle Brawlers series, you know how freaking integral and how close the relationship of Preyas and Marucho is, especially in the first season. Definitely can't wait to talk about that one in crazy intense moment we see later on. But but this episode pretty much introduces Marucho and Preyas, as well as we also get the introduction to two characters that they're not prominent characters, but you know of them and stuff like that, and they fairly, I guess you could say they're fairly important, just not too much important and everything. They are in the Bakugan Battle Brawlers video game, the first one, and stuff like that, so it goes to show that they're important in some cases and stuff like that. So yes, and that's in Jenny and Jewelz, but I'll talk about them in a quick second. So let's get to this episode. So the episode starts off with, well, us getting introduced to Preyas, and he's pretty much hitching rides on birds and escaping, birds' nests from getting eaten and stuff like that. And Preyas is a very quirky personality. He is kind of the jokester of the Battle Brawlers in terms of the Battle Brawlers Pokemon. Keep saying Pokemon. Bakugan. And everything. And you kind of feel like he doesn't take things necessarily as serious, but when there are those serious moments, then that's when Preyas can get fairly serious. And everything. And again, Preyas is one of my favorite Bakugan that I remember from the series. He's definitely iconic, I can say the least. I think his comedy actually steals the show, if you ask me. Some of his jokes land, some of them don't, and stuff like that, but he's more than likely one of the funniest characters in the show. But anyways, the thing is, Dan and Runa are kind of chillaxing in Dan's house, and they're pretty much talking about just regular things and stuff like that. And lo and behold, Marucho comes in and stuff like that, because they're wondering, like, oh, who's building this, this new huge tower in the city? And we pretty much find out from Marucho, because he gets on the video chat, he's like, yeah, that house is actually mine. And everybody was actually pretty shocked. And pretty much Marucho was going to move to the area where Dan and Reno lives at. It's just he was going to keep it a secret so we can see the surprised look on their faces. Now apparently there's like some sort of open house, like welcoming party. So Marucho's like, yeah, you guys are definitely invited if you want to come by and stuff like that. So yeah. Now Julie doesn't show up in this episode because I guess they forgot to tell her, but she'll show up in person in a later episode. And the same goes with Alice as well. And stuff like that. So pretty much the next day, Dan and Reno end up going to Marucho's place, and pretty much it looks like a hotel mansion. Like the outside of the structure looks like a hotel place and everything, but it's all like looks like damn near a 20-story building. So Marucho ends up greeting himself in person to Dan and Reno and everything, and it's funny because he's like, so do you like the way I'm dressed? And he dressed no different than he would on the video chat, which Dan and Runa kind of point out, but it's cool to meet him and everything and stuff like that. Again, Marucho, he's kind of the caring, compassionate battle brawler side of the things, but at the same time, he's probably in terms of like the smart aleck of the team, he's the smart aleck of the team. Like he pretty much he's pretty much, I guess you can say, like, if you go to Pokemon, he's pretty much the Brock of Pokemon, or of Bakugan, which, in other words, he can fairly easily, as if he's a spectator, like, pretty much be the narrator of, like, what the hell's going on and stuff like that, and things like that. He's not my favorite brawler out of all the brawlers we've seen in the show, like, especially when the main brawlers are just Dan, Shun, and him, Marucho. Out of Dan and Shun and Marucho. He's definitely least favorite, but he's definitely, you know, an iconic battle brawler because he's from the start and he gets pretty much to the end of the series and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah. He meets his dad and his mom. Pretty much his dad could have bought the entire block, pretty much mostly, if anything, most of Dan's neighborhood. So literally could have took Dan and other people in that neighborhood pretty much out of their homes and stuff like that, which it goes to show you how rich Marucho is. That's another thing. He's your typical rich character that pretty much funds the Bakugan Battle Brawlers tech and everything they get in terms of upgrades and stuff like that, because since he's a rich guy, well, there you go. So yeah, he has wealth. So they pretty much, him, Dan, and Runo pretty much walk around his building and stuff like that. I think the funniest gag they do from time to time is the damn bathroom room, where there's just a toilet just sitting in this vast landscaping of a room. They do this joke like a few times in the season 1, and then they do it occasionally in New Vestroia, and stuff like that, which it's honestly a funny joke, to be honest. After a while, it starts to get a little bit boring, but I guess you know what that means and stuff like that. They end up, you know, coming in. So this guy has like a legit aquarium in his own damn house. He has a freaking zoo in his own house. This guy's rich as shit. Now, overall, it's still a little bit exaggerated, because what are the chances a rich person has a legitimate aquarium in their mansion, where they can be able to hold whales and shit like that, and then, you know, you're holding pretty much your own zoo. You would think that that's the stuff, but that's that anime exaggeration stuff. So that's kind of the whole thing. They end up getting to his room, and this man has a flat screen TV that pretty much anybody wishes they could probably have. And that's when they kind of contact Runo and Julie, and stuff like that. Or not Runo and Julie, Julie and Alice and everything. And I think it's only Julie and stuff like that. But, you know, some things pass, and they end up seeing a video of Jenny and Jewelz, which are pretty much the idols in this show. They're like your big pop stars that, you know, all the girls just love to go to their concerts, and you have all the guys drooling. And we eventually find out that, you know, Dan has like a thing for Jenny, but, you know, Marucho has a thing for Jewelz, to the point they're like legitimately arguing with each other. Like, nah, this girl is the one that leads this pairing. Nah, you don't really understand, and stuff like that. This is the person that leads the bunch. So yeah, you see Jenny and Jewelz. Again, I made a reference to it in the end of my last Bakugan episode review. I said they're both snacks. Again, Jenny and Jewelz, they're probably two of the hottest looking Bakugan girls in the freaking series. So yes, they're 10 out of 10 snacks, and everything. And I think they're sisters to my knowledge, but they're pretty much like in sync and everything with everything they do. And anyway, speaking of Jenny and Jewelz, like I said, they're pretty much idol stuff. They're idols, and, you know, over this interview, they hear Dan, Marucho, and Runo here, which, funny enough, Runo gets like all, I guess you can say, pretty much jealous. She plays the girl character when you introduce like these girl idol characters, where your girl companion of the group is like, oh, these guys are just freaking, you know, they're just hussies pretty much. They just use their little looks and their cuteness and their skills to impress all the men, but, you know, and stuff like that, which it is funny because I think Marucho and Dan kind of make innuendos that, oh, at least we actually have a girl in here, and which is funny because later in the episode when they do show up at Marucho's place, they're like, well, it seems like you're the only girls up in here, and I'm like, yeah, I'm shocked that Runo didn't knock your brains out and stuff like that. But we find out that Jenny and Jewelz, they like to do Bakugan battles and everything because it's the new hip thing to do and everything. But pretty much their manager is like, you can't focus on that unless you get somebody to actually pay, you know, to actually fund you in terms of Bakugan battles and stuff like that. So they're arriving at this concert that they're about to perform for, and everything. But all of a sudden, they hear Masquerade's voice and everything, and they're looking around for Masquerade, and it's kind of a funny scene because he's like, "No, he's like, look over to your right. No, now look to your left. No, look to your left a bit. Then look to the left, and then like look back to your right." And then Masquerade's like, "Oh my freaking god! Just look to your damn right. Oh, there you go. Now you see me." And pretty much, and he pretty much goats them or tricks them to saying, "I'll fund your little operation of Bakugan battles, as long as you do this favor for me," and stuff like that. You can want to come do a Bakugan battle and stuff like that. And stupidly enough, Jenny and Jewelz goes with him and stuff like that. So yeah, in the meantime, Dan, Marucho, and Rune, they all end up running into Preyas, because the one thing is, Preyas was kind of bouncing around the house and everything. He ends up going into Dan's mother's pouch, which Dan's mother is there. She ends up going to like this, she needs to go use the restroom, but she ends up going into this jewelry room, and Preyas sees this and stuff like that. Dan's mom gets like free jewelry right then and there from Marucho's mother, because they have like damn near boatloads of jewelry, I'm guessing, from what his mom says. But they come across Preyas pretty much dragging some jewelry, and they see that. They end up talking to Preyas and everything, and we pretty much find out that Preyas has been on Earth for about 6 months, and he's just been kind of chilling and stuff like that. And again, he's very comedic. Like, he gives Drago and freaking Tigura names. He calls Drago Dragon On and Tigura Tiger Puss. And when Tigura and Drago are like, "You fucking kidding me?" And stuff like that. And it's funny because Tigura's like, "Do not call me that again." And stuff like that. So you can clearly see this man Preyas likes to crack jokes and everything. But all of a sudden, Marucho's butler comes in and says, "Hey, Master Marucho, you got some guests here." And lo and behold, Jenny and Jewelz show right up. Dan and freaking Marucho, they get, I'm gonna keep it PG as best I can, but they, I guess, get turned on because they're like, "Holy crap, our idols are here," and stuff like that. And pretty much they're like, "So, since we're here and we heard everything, we came to battle you guys." And they're like, "What, you want a Bakugan battle lesson?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, cool." So the episode shifts to the roof. Yes, because they gotta fight on the top of the roof. I don't know why they can't just fight right then and there, but okay. They're at the top of the roof. Anyways, they end up, Marucho ends up coming back, and he actually gives Dan and Runo, well, not Runo yet, but he gives Dan pretty much a Bakugan shooter. So they have their own Bakugan shooters and everything. Apparently, since he's so rich, he can be able to give his allies, his friends, Bakugan shooters pretty much. So that's the thing. Now, Jenny and Jewelz reveals that they got not only Baku shooters, but the Doom cards, and pretty much Dan, Marucho, and Runo are like, "Wait, how the hell did you get that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we got it from Masquerade or something like that." And pretty much they're like, "Well, how could you work for this guy? That guy's bad news and everything." And Jenny and Jewelz kind of pays it off like it's no mind, and they're like, "Well, he's funding us to do Bakugan battles, so I think it's a good deal," and stuff like that. So anyways, they end up opening the field to start the battle. So we get another double battle here, but this time it's Jenny and Jewelz versus Dan and Marucho. Again, Marucho is an Aquas user. Jenny is also an Aquas user, and Jewelz is a Subterra user. So Jewelz starts out the battle, and she brings out, I believe, her Subterra Sting Lash. And Marucho's up. He brings out his Aquas Preyas. So the one interesting thing about Preyas we find out in the battle is when Jewelz activates, which is pretty much a Subterra-based ability, or gate card, we see before the gate card opens, Preyas actually changes attributes into a Subterra Bakugan. So when the gate card activates, he also gets the Subterra boost that any Subterra Bakugan would get, which Drago makes the mention that the Preyas species in Bakugan has the ability to change attributes, which makes his kind very unique, very different. And like I said, it makes him one of the more cooler Bakugan because he can legitimately change attributes if needed to, because to help benefit him and give him a better, chance at winning matches. And it's actually pretty dope if you ask me, and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, by this logic, it shocks Jewelz, and since Preyas' G level is a lot higher, it's about, I think, 10 G levels higher than the Sting Lash, Preyas pretty much easily beats the Sting Lash. And again, he kind of taunts the girls and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much the thing. And then we're left off on a cliffhanger with Jewelz, or Jenny, pretty much challenging Dan. I think it's our time to fight now and stuff like that. So the next episode, the battle will be resolved at the same time. Apparently Drago has a story to tell about the Bakugan and stuff like that and what's been going on. So you'll get part 2 pretty much next week, or not next week, but whenever I upload it to my YouTube channel. But yeah, but other than that, it was a good episode. I enjoyed the presence of Jenny and Jewelz. I think they're not annoying characters, and they're fairly in sync and everything, and stuff like that, and they do serve a purpose a bit. But I do like the inclusion of Marucho, and again, Preyas, he's also good. So a solid episode of Bakugan. So like I said, original series has yet to have a bad episode as of this point, which, hey, I'm fine with, but stuff like that. But anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on episode 7 of Bakugan Battle Brawlers, as well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Bakugan Battle Brawlers content. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night watching this video. Until then, guys, peace.